I just tell you right now, because it's really fun when you just keep saying yes. Reverend Michael has this joke, because he knows, after whatever he asks me, he knows I'm going to say yes. So he kind of pushes it sometimes, like Kimberly, and I'm just like standing like, he knows I'm going to say yes. And it always leads to more adventures. It's so good to be with all of you here. It feels like it's been a long time. I think it's yes. I feel like I've gone so many places as you all have since I've seen you. So I thank you for being right here, right now. It's always nice to go, whew, we landed right here, right now. Last week at this time I was flying back. Next week at this time I'll be flying back again. So it's kind of like I'm living in an airplane lately. I just got back, thank you. I just got back from spending a week with Reverend Michael and a lot of other wonderful beings, and Reverend Kathleen and Lee in Costa Rica at the Rhythmia Life Advancement Center. And I was assisting him last week, and next week I'll be teaching, so I'll be there a few times this year teaching, and I'm very, very honored and so excited. And I invite all of you to come, get on a plane and join me in Costa Rica. And then you will have massages and spiritual wisdom and yoga and running on the beach and all sorts of other things. And then I get to come right back here. So I'm really, 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 really grateful. He does say good morning. Last night he said, please tell everyone I said good morning, so I'm being sure I deliver the message. I'm not messing up on my job. I said yes. Could you just know today, right here and now, that there's like so much love in the air? Right. Ooh. Someone just turn around, look at everyone around you. Say, love is in the air. Love is in the air. Look at somebody else, love is in the air. Love is in the air. Look at one more person, love is in the air. Love is in the air. And then say, and I'm receiving it everywhere. Everywhere. We are receiving it, yes. From this moment onward, I invite you every moment, every second to receive more love. That I know this is the time of, oh, it's Valentine's, so we tend to think, ooh, what do I do for love? I'm inviting you today to just take a stand to be love. To just be it. Because the second that you were absolutely birthed, and I even mean that you were created before that, the moment that spark of you, the just beautiful you-ness came into being was out of pure love. There's no way it couldn't have been. That the second it was a boom, yes, and you were here, that was love. And from that moment onward, you have been the light of love, the wisdom of love. No matter if you have forgotten or not, you're still absolutely the divine spark of pure love. Agreed? Agreed. So when you stand in love and take a bold stand for it, you get to remember over and over that yes, love is the answer. But then what is the question? If we always know love is the answer, that means you're the answer because you're love. So that means whatever question comes to you, you already have the answer within you. Do you catch that? That it already exists within you. So that seed of transformation that was you, is you, has continued to be you, will continue to be you, already has the answers to every question because you have direct contact with the Almighty. So every question we ask, in comes the answer. So guess what our job is? To consistently cultivate a field to receive the answer, because it's coming. As Thich Nhat Hanh said this morning, if we have the courage to stand for something, if we have a smile to keep remembering who we are, and then we're propelled into action with it, we are always living the answer. So I want to talk to you today about being highly conscious of the questions you ask. Because when we ask awakened questions, we get answers that are much faster because we're in direct contact. When we were in Costa Rica, did everyone experience that magnificent moon that was like 10 days ago? It was amazing. I don't know what it was about being there, but all of a sudden it was just bigger. It felt bigger. And of course, because we were there, everybody said, let's just wake up in the middle of the night and enjoy it right when it comes up. So alarm clocks were going off. Like at 4:30, I went, okay, I can do this. And I'm outside, and we prayed outside with that full moon for 1 hour straight. So the questions we posed that night were really important to me. That we sat under that beautiful moon holding space for what's possible for agape, what's possible for soul center, what's possible for each minister here, there, each practitioner, each individual, each congregant, what's possible. Now, if we sit under a powerful energetic field like that moon and pose the questions, then we are going to receive answers that are absolutely expansive. Because we're listening from an avenue that is clear and available. It wasn't sitting under the moon just wondering, I wonder what's going on today. Something's happening out here. It's kind of bright. Something's really bright about this today. It was lining up with, let me know the power and the presence is happening, and then become available to place on the altar questions that absolutely, then my job is to build receptivity to hear the answers. So I'm listening. We all have the opportunity to then just cultivate listening, so that those answers, when they come, we catch them. Yesterday I had this beautiful adventure of a couple came to me. They just got engaged. And so the mother of one of them said, I'm going to send you to camp before you have your wedding, which was really wonderful. And it was fun because they kind of sounded like, we're not quite sure what we're doing here. And I said, well, that's all right, because guess what? It's really good you're here instead of like 10 years from now that you're walking in and going, we need help. Like you have an opportunity to begin this journey of partnership from a different context. So when I asked them, what does your marriage mean to you? What does relationship mean to you? What do you wish it to be? And it was adorable because they kind of looked at each other like, I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. And so we were able to put these questions on the table like, let's discuss it now. Let's look at what is your intention in marriage? What are those qualities that you want to awaken in your marriage? What's important to you? And as the time went on, all of a sudden I started to see little bumps, where places there was upset. I said, okay, so how do we handle that? And they had the opportunity to look at what could you do from this point in your relationship, embarking upon marriage, when there is upset. What is possible from that viewpoint? And when we started to look at, can you set the intention to stay so connected that you ask questions from the heart field of love, could you imagine the answers you're going to get? So that when there was this upset about laundry and dishes and who knows what, and I said, don't we all have them? We all have them. Whether it's laundry or dishes or how you park the car or how you don't, who knows? But things exist that all of a sudden we'll have a trigger on. I can't believe they did that again. Seriously. I said, but if you don't say it, if you don't speak it, because he looked, and this happens a lot, he said, well, it's probably better if I just don't say anything. She'll be fine. And I said, and that could build to what's going to happen 5 years from now when you haven't said anything and you're getting more upset. I said, what's possible to walk in and look at someone you love and say, I love you so much, and would you be willing to just let me ask this question to you? And he's looking at me, and he's like, what's the question? I said, if you just looked and said, I love you so much, and where can we meet in the middle? Because I like the laundry on the floor, and I know you want it in that basket, and I'm not quite sure how to get it from here to there, but what can we do to have it someplace in the middle? And she lit up like, yes, someplace in the middle. So where there's possibilities to ask questions instead of walking in and saying, what is wrong with you? Has anyone heard that question being asked to them? Or you're asking it to someone else? So can we agree today that could be the last time you ever asked that question again? And you definitely cannot ask it anymore to yourself. No more. Who's in agreement? Yes, thank you so much. I've been holding you to this. You know I've been holding to this. Because that chatter in our head, because the questions that we ask to others, then think about if we turn around and go, what questions am I asking to myself? Because we all lit up on that one of, what is wrong with you? I can't believe you did that again. Seriously, what were you thinking? I want us to become master interrupters of absolutely neutralizing that. That question to ourselves or our beloved will not uplift. We have the opportunity, if we know the answer is love, and you are love, then let's look at what questions that can we ask that are loving. If we ask loving questions to love, we're going to have a direct answer that's about absolutely smooth and release all the negative stuff that we've been carrying around. Is this making sense? Yeah. So the questions get to be, What's possible in this situation? What is possible for you and I to live in the same house and have, harmony in between? Where can we honor one another? Can we have a bigger conversation here that's about love, even if there seems to be upset? Because when we have those conversations, we're aiming on awakened, conscious relationships. And every relationship in our life is here for us to perfect our love. Every relationship, the one with ourselves, the one with someone who seems difficult, the one with someone who seems like they're so loving, every relationship gives us the opportunity to perfect our ability to be loving. Do you hear? I'm not saying for them to be more loving to us. It gives us the opportunity to perfect our loving. That's why we're here. Because as we continue to perfect our loving and find ways to clean up any space that there's been judgment, resentment, upset, and come back to the center. How many people were in meditation this morning? That sense, did you feel the sense of come back to the center, keep our heart open, and allow the loving to lead? If our loving is leading the way, then every question we ask is going to be love-filled, so there's going to be an answer of reciprocal love back and forth to whomever you're walking with. Even if there's a place that seems to be upset. You have the opportunity to perfect your loving in the midst of it, because you will transform what looked like upset. And you'll walk away in harmony thinking, wow, I walked in with the intention to be loving, met love, and walked back out awakened. How many of you read the 4 Agreements? Great book. My favorite part, there's a part in there, it's the 3rd agreement. Anyone remember what the 3rd agreement is? Okay, everyone go back and reread the book. The 3rd agreement is to not make assumptions. So I'm spiritual director at some treatment centers, and I teach that book in treatment. And at one gathering, there was a time where I was on that do not make assumptions. Do you remember what the key to not making assumptions is? Who said it?
Ask for clarification.
Absolutely. Thank you. Ask questions. The key to not making assumptions is to ask questions. Now, he doesn't go into the manner of the questions, and that's what we're discussing today. But if you ask questions, you will not be hanging out and making assumptions. So very often we make assumptions of, oh, that person was in a bad mood today. They're probably upset because I did something the other day. Oh, no, I shouldn't have done that. I better call because what if... And the mind starts spinning and assuming, right? Or we assume they did a certain action because of something else, and we start creating massive stories. Who creates massive stories in here besides me? But we get to interrupt them. If we could just become like, whoa, that was a really good story. I'm just going to stop. I'm going to stop. Because I just started to run amok. Now then we take a breath and come right back to, if I was to ask you a question about what I was starting to create in my story, I could calm the story down immediately and create a whole new really interesting one. So the question, opportunity is, instead of making an assumption, we take a breath and look at someone and say, can I ask you a question about this? When I did this, did that cause upset with you? Or whatever you need to ask to get clarification. Most of the time, 90% of the time, someone will look at you like, what are you talking about? I didn't even know that occurred. Because we are just running. So we have the opportunity to clean house, get back to love as fast as possible by just asking a question. So we're in this class, and this businessman is really, really quiet. Big, powerful businessman in business, has a whole bunch of companies, and he stands up, and I said, what's wrong? He said, Kim, I can't ask a question. I can't walk into a board meeting and ask a question. I will look like I'm losing power. I looked at him and went, very interesting. I said, so your perception is if you ask a question, you will look less than, like you should have all the answers to everything, so you should never ask the question because you're in charge of this company. He said, absolutely. And I said, how's that working? And he started making a lot of assumptions. So his mind was spinning in how things could be. Now, he's got all these businesses going. Imagine how much smoother they will go when he just takes a breath and thinks differently. So as Reverend Michael was talking this last week to everyone about the content, not our consciousness. His content right then was, if I will look not so wise, I won't look as powerful if I ask a question. That was the content. It wasn't his consciousness, but it was the content of it. So I said to him, if we stretch the content and you shift your perception of what that looks like, could it be, if you ask a question, you could be empowering those who work with you? And he said, what do you mean? I said, what if you looked at them and the question was, what are your thoughts of how we could shift this over here so that this becomes more efficient in this business? What do you think? What is possible for us to work more efficiently as a team? What's the issue here? And he looked at me like, those are the kind of questions? I said, there's many more. But if you come in it from not a hierarchy of, I must know all, because what happens when we live there? We just leave spirit out of the game. Once we think, no, I know all of it, I don't need your opinion, and I'm sure not going to ask a question, we just kind of said to spirit, I don't need any help, I've got this. And the second we do that, we're pushing away love. Like we're unified fields of consciousness, that we are not separate from spirit unless we push it aside. It's still there, but that's our power of choice. So when he looked at it from this perspective of, oh, if I'm asking a question to connect, to know I'm one with all my employees, everyone I work with, just imagine what business is going to look like then. So I invite you to look at that place of, if there's any place in your thinking, any place in your contents that you have held on to, well, if I ask a question, I could live less than, not connecting, I should know more, I'm asking you to leave it here today. Because if you take a stand to be more curious than confused, you're going to be stretching. See, if we know that the answer is love, I want you to be curious about what questions you can ask that keep you back in alignment with love at every moment of your life. Be curious. Seekers, spiritual seekers are curious. They want to know more. We all want to know more. That's why we're in this room. We want to be in the presence of one another so we can remember who we are. So be curious when there's any sense of perception that must be shifted. So the key is, if anything is keeping you blocked from listening to spirit, to catching love, then that perception gets to be cleaned up. Does that make sense? Did you see how we're always on an eternal housekeeping? And it's okay. Because we are the only ones in our own thinking that can tell what is happening. And I want you to be so alert to it that at any given moment you can take a breath and just remember, wait a minute, wait, what do I know to be true? And all you have to do is go back to love, because you are love. So if you're the eternal answer, every eternal question gets to be based in love. Curious questions bring about clearer contact to the Almighty. I want you to catch that. Curious questions brings about clearer contact. We're always in contact with Spirit, but the more curious our questions are, what is possible here? What is being revealed here? When you're in the middle of a difficult situation, instead of, why did this happen to me? Because you know I'm going to tell you to kick that question right out the door. What's a different question you could ask? Yes. What can I learn? Where am I to stretch? Where am I to grow? What is occurring now that I must see so that I could remember that I'm a light bearer of pure love? What must I see? What can I let go of? What can I let go of? Now, just imagine that that's what's going on in your head, instead of, why did I do that? What is going on? Why did that person just do that? If we get right back to, what am I to learn here? Patience, patience, patience. This morning I was on the freeway. I always give myself plenty of time to come see you. And all of a sudden, all brakes on the 405. I'm thinking, it's 8 in the morning. I would just be out here on a Sunday morning. And in my head, it's funny that everybody else was calling. I was like, I don't really want to call Patricia and say, I'm not there yet. Somebody gets like, come on, just clear up. And as I had a choice in that moment to change the content of my conversation, instead of me seeing myself calling Patricia, I went to, okay, whatever's occurring here, I'm just sending blessings, sending blessings, sending blessings, smooth, safe. What is it I need to know? Just take a few deep breaths, Kim. Whew, all is well. And sure enough, accident came clear, and I was able to start praying for that individual, so that the story got interrupted as fast as possible. We have the ability to create our beautiful lives every moment. And the content of our conversations is the point of absolute power to create again and again and again and again. Because Spirit is always saying yes. Ask Tyler. Spirit is always saying yes. So the more we say yes with it, the more we're lining up to remember, I must be clear in the content of my conversations so that I know that I'm love and I'm asking questions that are curious about how do I get back to love as fast as possible. If that is how we are being led, each moment, each day, there will not be any space of violence anymore because we'll be walking alert and aware of where can I be the light bearer again and again and again and again and assist those who may have forgotten for a moment to remember who they are. You know, the power of our words is so tangible and beautiful. I have to read this to you. Ernest Holmes, in this Creative Mind and Success, this book is everything he said is brilliant, but I want to read this to you. He said, man's word, spoken forth into creative mind, is endowed with power of expression. Quote, by our words we are justified, and by our words we are condemned. Our word has the exact amount of power that we put into it. That does not mean power through effort or strain, but power through absolute conviction or faith. It is like a little messenger who knows what he is doing and knows just how to do it. We speak into our words the intelligence which we are, with the intelligence which we are. Backed by the greater intelligence of the universal mind, our word becomes a law unto the thing for which it is spoken. Our word, every question, every thought, is absolutely propelling into motion the law that is always in action. Always, always, always. And the more we stay awake to what is that of love that I am here to deliver today, the more we're going to line up with allowing Spirit to just move through us in a greater flow than ever before. Love is why we are here. We are here to perfect it. And I invite you to be so engaged and curious with the questions that are occurring in your life that they each and every one lead you right back to love, right back to love. Agreed? Everyone take a breath. Look around again and say, love is in the air.
Love is in the air.
One more time, love is in the air.
Love is in the air.
And I'm receiving it everywhere.
I'm receiving it everywhere.
Lovely. Take a breath so I can lead us right into prayer. I didn't even know that all rhymed. Oh, Spirit. Oh, I just bless this. I just invite you right now as we go into prayer to just hold the space for anyone in your life that you want to include in this field of prayer. Loved ones, family ones, friends, yourself. Just hold the space and bring them here. Accepting and knowing that we truly are these light beings, light bearers, filled with love. The spark of love exists within every individual in this room, every individual that can hear these words. Every individual across this glorious planet are love beings. And right now, right here, all at Soul Center are in complete agreement that we are sparked by the divinity to stand in love and know the truth. In the midst of challenges, in the midst of joys, we know the truth. That we are curious seekers to live love amplified. And that as we do, others wake up to that love within themselves by just in being in our presence where we take a stand for them. That we remember again and again and again that with every breath we have a choice to choose again. With every thought we become masterful at interrupting any thoughts that no longer serve us and stand in that space of expansiveness and choose again. Love matters right here, right now, on this day and every day. Not just certain holidays, every day. We perfect our loving together in harmony, in joy, in our yes. I bless us all. I bless us all. And in gratitude together we say, and so it is. Amen.